Autoweb. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Autoweb.
Yo, LA, let's get in it. Let's get with it. This is SVB and the place to be, and it is, you ready for this, people? It is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and I'm with my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. L.A. Williams, a.k.a. the Blind Master.
What's up, LA? People? You know, we do it in the building.
Yo, LA. So I want to talk about something like special, man. Like this is, I want to get my government on. I want to give a public service announcement, a PSA. Hey, you pay attention. You feel me? Does everybody out there in the automotive industry know the #1 reason why people don't buy cars in LA? Do you think they know? Let's ask the audience a rhetorical question right now. I mean, like if you're driving, you're listening to this podcast, why don't people buy cars? It's a simple question because
they don't have enough money. They don't have this. Everybody's guessing wrong. Just so you know, I hear them.
Oh, yeah. People say because of inventory, because we don't have the right inventory. We don't have enough inventory. There's a pricing crisis. You know, we have addendums. Like what other reasons do you think they say, LA?
Oh, their credit is so too messed up. They don't have enough down payment. They don't this. They don't that. It's always them.
They didn't like me. They didn't like me. They didn't like me.
They couldn't get a cosigner.
Oh, how about this one? Because buyers are liars, man. Buyers are liars. They're always lying to you. They're always trying to tell you something that's not true, making my job as a salesperson hard. It's hard out here for
because of the internet. They always get all this information on the internet first.
Oh, because the XYZ dealership, ABC Motors, 123 competitor, they gave them a better situation, a better price. They have the car. I mean, what other BS excuses do they have, LA?
Oh, they selling below invoice in this crazy invite. They said they was taking $8,000 off and all this old crazy stuff.
Because my manager's old. My manager's stupid. My manager don't know what they're doing. My manager can't close a deal. Never mind anything. I mean, like they can't even close a sandwich. LA. My manager. Oh, my manufacturers. There's no rebates. There's no incentives. There's no reason for people to buy a car. Come on, LA. What else? What other excuses do people say why people don't buy cars right now? Why else?
That's just being greedy, man. They just trying to do too much, man. It don't need to be that much. The desk.
Oh, yeah, they don't have no money. These customers, they don't have no down payment. Oh, nobody likes to lease. Nobody leases down here. It's the South. Nobody leases over here. We only want to buy cars, and we can't buy cars. And what else, LA?
I think we covered them.
Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of other bullshit excuses out there. So, folks, I'm sorry to break your bubble and burst your bullshit, right? You get that? Break your bubble, burst your bullshit. But those are not the reasons why people don't buy cars today in the automotive industry or for the last 20 plus years, because ironically, it's still the same thing. The #1 reason why people don't buy cars is because they're landed on the wrong car. What do you mean, Sean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean the wrong car? How's that possible? LA, tell them how it's possible, LA.
Man, it's so possible because we don't qualify them the right way. We're not asking the right questions.
Wait a minute. LA, oh my God. You ever see Lion King?
Yeah.
You remember when he said Mufasa and he started to like shiver? He's like, Mufasa, ooh, Mufasa, ooh. When you say qualify, I start to shiver. Say it again. Say qualify.
Qualify.
Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, it's right down my spine. Because qualification is the absolute most important skill that a sales professional needs to learn and then master. I'm going to repeat that. Qualification, the art of qualifying a prospect. Well, LA, can you break down and define for the simple people out there, what does qualify mean?
Yeah, it means asking the right questions.
That's really what the number one thought process of qualification is asking.
Yeah,
questions.
but that's too. I don't know. That's too. It's not finite enough. It's too loose, loose in a caboose. Because you like the right questions. That you know what I mean. That's interpretive. Okay. So again, without saying what are the right questions, I want to build on what you just said. I'm going to say this a little more technically and say, look, qualifying is identifying a prospect's wants, wishes, needs, and expectations.
That's right.
Y'all in the bleachers, listen to me. I'm going to repeat that. Qualifying is asking the right questions. But what are those right questions? Questions that are going to tell us what is a prospect's wants, needs, motivations, expectations. LA, can you elaborate on that point?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So many times we always want to, push off our agenda on the prospect. And that's not really what your goal ought to ever be. It really ought to be, okay, let me identify their wants, wishes, expectations. Let me find out, okay, what is it specifically that we're wanting? And we already know that, sometimes prospects have these challenging wants, wishes, and expectations, but then it's going to be our job to ask them more questions to get it all to make sense. So one of the things that people find really good about me is that I know how to make things make sense to people. So we know people have, wine taste on a beer budget, but that's just because of whatever they're thinking in their mind. So all I have to do is ask them questions to help them see their realistic situation. And again, it's all a part of qualifying. You see what I'm saying, Sean? It's crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt, LA. I think you're spot on. I want to keep diving deeper down this rabbit hole, if you will, of qualification. See, folks, you got to think of it this way. When somebody comes to your dealership, if you assume that you know what they want or what they need, right? Then you're going to start to say certain things, show the prospect certain things. And guess what? If you were incorrect, slightly or worse, completely incorrect, you could elongate the process. You could stress somebody out. You could annoy them, or you could disappoint them, or all the above. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be a detriment to trying to close a sale. What you want to do instead of guessing is be sure. It's funny too, because LA, Dr. Covey from the 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People, the author, Dr. Stephen Covey, wrote this amazing book many, many years ago called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Mm-hmm. And the 5th habit is such a beautiful one, LA. It goes like this. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Folks, I'm going to repeat that. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Because if you shut up first and you listen without speaking, without judging, without offering any advice, if you just truly listen with your ears, not listening with your mouth, if you just listen to what they say, okay, listen to what they're telling you. What are they interested on? Where do they see the vehicle? What do they think the vehicle costs? Is there a trade-in? What do they think their vehicle's worth? What's the down payment? And we're going to get into these qualifying questions later, but I haven't even asked a question yet, because at this point, a lot of times they tell us so much before we even need to ask the first question. Yeah. Whether they tell us via an internet purchase request through a lead capture template, right? Like a form on a website, or third party, or the manufacturer, when they fill things out, they're filling in expectations, wants, wishes, needs, etc. When they call us on the phone and we take an inbound phone up, when they walk into the dealership, they're going to start to say something. This immediately starts the qualification process. So I want you to understand, qualification is bi-directional. Mm-hmm. Qualification isn't just you asking questions. Qualifications is you shutting up and listening to what is said, seeing what has been emailed, what has been text, not just in the actual words and sentences, but in the email address and the name of their company. Every little thing that you can see, hear, absorb, you're qualifying the prospect. LA, start talking about that. Elaborate on that point right there. Everything is qualification.
You are so on it, Sean, because, so many people don't realize that the qualification process starts, as soon as I know the prospect's name. I mean,
Ooh.
literally, if I can, tell from their name, their age, their sex, all of these different things is how I'm going to handle things differently. I talk about proper qualification, how with males, I'll say, how are we going to handle this? And with females, I'll say, so how are we taking care of this? Little things like that. People don't realize that it's about the small stuff, right? Stuff that you don't even realize. I love when you said their email address, right? Pootie 1976. I'm going to talk to that person a little bit differently than I am going to, Jamie Rab 1984, right? It's just going to be a slight different conversation, right? And 1964, all of that good stuff. See, you can find out so much, but as you said, Sean, it's when you're paying attention. So many times we're so absorbed in ourselves and what we got going on that we're not even paying attention to what's going on with the prospect. It's crazy.
Yeah, watch. I want to build on what you just kind of elaborated on too. Remember, it's not just the email preface, like the name. It could be the company. For example, Sean B at Dealer Synergy. That's my email address. If I was purchasing a vehicle, if somebody took a second to see the at handle, the domain at Dealer Synergy. What if somebody was at Procter and Gamble, or at Apple.com, or at Medford K12 org. You could tell a lot from the company, the employment, their profession. Again, folks, this is the thing, is that people don't understand enough, is that what you are is a detective. If you like superheroes, you get to be a superhero every day. You could be the Dark Knight, not literally like in an evil way, like I'm Batman, but in the way of putting shit together and figuring it the fudge out. Because all these things are, like, I call them field intelligence or profile pieces. The clearer the picture that you have of a person in a situation, the better and more in sync your presentation could be. Let me explain. Let me flow for a second here. Is that if you look at a puzzle, right? Let's just say you have 1,000-piece puzzle. That's a lot of puzzle pieces. If somebody turns around and has them all upside down so you can't see the picture, it's just like the cardboard side up, right? And then they're scrambling all the pieces around. You have no idea what that picture is, right? Well, that's the same thing. When somebody comes into the dealership, or they call you or send you a text message or they chat you, with the first engagement, you might have none of those pieces flipped over, or you might have a couple of them. And think about this, the more of the puzzle pieces that you can flip over and you could see the picture, even if they have these odd shapes and these odd geometry, specs, you can start to turn the pieces around, find a strategy, a pattern, whether it's the line, it's the perimeter, and start building up. And my point is, more and more time that you put into working this puzzle, you start to see a clearer picture. And that's what I want you to do in sales, any sales, but especially in car sales. If you are trying to sell the appointment, you're trying to sell the car, what you're trying to do is figure out the puzzle of this prospect. The prospect puzzle is what I like to call it. Okay, so when you are starting to put you like that? Yeah. When you start to put the pieces of the prospect puzzle together, the more that they click together, the more that they form a picture. Okay, this is a parent. This is a student. This is a first-time buyer. This is a family. Oh, they're using this vehicle for personal, for transportation, as a commuter vehicle. Oh, they're buying this for an anniversary present. Oh, they're former military. They're teacher. They're in a union. They're X-plan. They're S-plan. The more that you're able to qualify, identify wants, wishes, expectations, situations, etc., the better that you're able to put together the absolute best custom value package proposition, which means the why buy message. LA?
Yo, that is fire. I've never heard you mention it that way, but now that you have, it's stolen, right? I'm copying that, copy, paste, you know what I'm because that is it just paints the picture so vividly. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? The prospect puzzle. So many times people have a hard time putting together this puzzle, and as you said, it's like all they get is a little. That's why I guess I thrive as the blind master, because for me, you know, a lot of people, they got the pictures, it's all flipped over and everything, and y'all can't tell nothing. But I actually have a slight advantage because I do feel the shapes, and I make sure that, okay, cool, I do know at least the perimeter pieces. I know what's the inside pieces and outside pieces. So I have a little bit of an advantage. But man, I'm telling you, if we learn to do that and you learn to flip each individual piece over, it, like you said, oh, this is apparent. I felt like somebody really putting together a puzzle. That was so cool, Sean.
Well, listen, brother, you inspire me. You know what I mean? Like, again, you a master. So it's a master talking to a master right now. So again, you know, iron sharpens iron. You know, that's pretty much what it is. So just to keep going down this trajectory, again, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is the following. We're trying to get somebody to like us, trust us, believe us. How do we do that? Okay, there's certain ways. One is by being genuine, by being sincere, by being transparent. So again, when I'm going to qualify somebody, before I do, I don't want them to feel like it's an interrogation or that I'm being like mischievous or I'm Machiavelli. I have a crazy strategy. I tell them right from the door, I'm going to say something like this, like, LA, listen, I appreciate you coming in and giving us the opportunity to earn your business. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And what I've found in my 20 years is that people, you know, don't like wasting time at a dealership, going in circles and having, you know, this person, that person. So yeah. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like I am a people person, and I try to put myself in your shoes. And if I was going to buy a car, do I want to waste time? Do I want to go back and forth? No, none of that. And do I want them to show me something that I can't qualify for, or that I don't like, or that I can't afford, that's going to put me in a bad. No. So what we've done, LA, is we created this incredible process that's customer first. And what that means is I want to let you know that I'm here for you. If you want to buy a car today, great, I'm going to help you buy a car today. But if you don't want to buy a car today, if you want to just turn today into a fact-finding research session, not a problem. Keep your checkbook at home and we could just turn on and make this a research day. What am I doing right now, LA, as the trainer, is I am basically making that person not feel threatened, like I'm trying to get them and take all their money right now, right? I'm trying to make them feel that what I am is that I'm sincere. I'm here to help you, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set proper expectations. I'm going to say something like this. So LA, what I want to be able to do is ask you a series of questions. I want to identify your wants, your wishes, your expectations, because I'm going to tell you right now, my goal is not to just meet your expectations. No, not when you're buying something as expensive as an automobile. I'm telling you that I'm committed right here today to exceeding your expectations, but I'm not arrogant I just met you to just assume I know everything. So if you please just give me a couple minutes, I promise I'm going to be able to save you a tremendous amount of time and be able to help you get exactly what you're looking for. Does that sound fair enough, LA?
Oh, wow. I appreciate that, Sean.
Boom. And then I jump into my qualification process. And what I do is I've created a dealer synergy customer worksheet. And what I'm really excited to share, LA, is that on May 24th, at what time, LA, we have a special masterclass for qualifying prospects.
Mm-hmm. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 Pacific.
Okay. All right. So folks, I'm telling you, everybody listening to this podcast, this is the first time I've ever done this class, for the public. So, and LA, what's the cost of the class?
$97, just $97.
$97. That's it. $97.
That's damn near free.
Okay. But it is free if you are an active paying dealer synergy client or a Bradley on-demand client. If you are any type of a dealer synergy client or a Bradley on-demand client, paying client, all right, you will be able to get into this masterclass for free. If you are a non-dealer synergy Bradley on-demand client, it is only $97. That's okay, $97. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a little teaser right here. I'm going to share my screen right now. And this, what you're looking at, is the dealer synergy customer worksheet that I invented. Okay. This to me is a very powerful qualifying sheet. Okay. Some people might call it a 4-square sheet. I don't, because I don't use it like a typical 4-square, but it does have 4 boxes because in my professional opinion, for being an advanced automotive professional, salesman of the month, salesman of the year. I used to average over 33 cars per month. And I was a beast selling cars. And then I was running my internet BDC departments. 20 years ago, I was selling 110 units a month out of my internet departments. 20 years ago, LA, I was a beast. And what I did is I always knew that there's 4 key components or 4 quadrants that make up a car deal. Well, the first in the upper right-hand corner is the vehicle of interest. Okay. And in the upper left-hand corner is the current vehicle. Okay, so pretty much on top of the line, it's the vehicles. It's the current vehicle and the vehicle of interest, right? Mm-hmm. But then in the bottom left-hand corner, it's the initial investment, AKA the down payment. And what a lot of people don't know or appreciate or respect LA is that down payment is key to the profitability in any car deal, okay? And most salespeople I find are weak or scared to try to get the money down. And what happens is they start working against the desk. They start becoming like the prospect's liaison or congressman, and they go to the desk. Well, they can't do this. They can only do instead of working the customer, most salespeople are working the desk, which is a little flip-floppy. Okay. And then finally, in the bottom right-hand corner is the monthly investment, AKA the monthly payments, right? And so I have a very powerful strategy on how to navigate these boxes, but there's more to it because I'm going to kind of list all the things that we go over in here in no particular order because I'm going to give you the strategy at the workshop. I mean, getting the proper contact and prospect information is so critical because again, if you can't spot the deal in the dealership, you can't secure the appointment or the sale over the phone or the internet, then what do you have? You've got ungats. You got nothing except unless you have gathered the proper qualified information. If you've qualified your prospect properly, then you could follow up with your prospect. But most salespeople don't qualify the prospects the right way. They don't log them the right way, and they damn sure don't put the right notes in. And almost the vast majority of them, over 75% of them, don't do media surveys, which means they don't track where the actual real source is. They don't track the real type. Types are walk-in phone, internet, there's chat, there's social. And there's certain things that we're going to go over in the workshop that are system critical.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention auto dealers, you need an opportunity to do business. Autoweb is one of the largest suppliers of high quality leads, high quality buyers. At a 10% closing ratio, you will be at less than $190 per car sold. Don't just settle for what you get. Autoweb can fully customize your results through targeted markets and or zip codes, and as a partner, you will get premium placement within search results. Who better to do that than literally the people that invented automotive internet sales? If you want to sell more cars more often and more profitably, then you need Autoweb.
Now, in the vehicle of interest, what you want to be able to do is not just get basic information. The more strategic information, remember the puzzle pieces, the prospect puzzle pieces we talked about? Well, I've created what I feel are the absolute best questions to really get everything that we need for the vehicle of interest, as well as everything that we need for the current vehicle. And I've got locked in ways, okay? Because sometimes salespeople don't do a good job of getting the current vehicle's information. Why? Because on the internet, they tell people, don't tell them about your trade at all or until the very end and things like that. Mm-hmm. And like I said to you before, most people really fear or asking for the down payment or justifying it. So again, LA, what are your thoughts about the way that I break this qualification into 4 main quadrants? Vehicle of interest, current vehicle, initial investment, and monthly investment.
Yeah, as you said, Sean, it is the 4 key elements of putting together a car deal. And, it's a shame that, Foursquare has such a negative connotation. I get, I get why and I get all that good stuff. But the truth of the matter is so many things follow this pattern, right? Whether it's the 4 quadrants, 4 ways to earn income, whether it's, time matrix, whether it's, making sure that you're doing what you ought to do. All of these things, this 4 box category thing is a good way to separate things in life. And so again, please don't be deterred. Please don't be, put off, put out because it's in 4 boxes, right? It's just how life works. It's just good to put things in separate compartments. You understand where I'm coming from? But no, I love what you're talking about, Sean.
I want to address something right there. There's some people, because I've been in the industry for 23 years, and some of the new people might not even know this, but there is a negative stigma when it turns to 4 squares, because people would say stupid things like, if I could do this, would you buy the car? Could you type stuff? You know what I mean? This is all ghetto cheesy things. I don't do anything ghetto. I don't do anything cheesy. So this is very sophisticated. What this is going to be able to do, my qualification system is better than anything I've ever seen in the automotive industry. I'm a student of the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a grandmaster at my craft.
And listen, dealers agree. Let me just say that dealers agree. We've actually been doing this. I would call it like a test pilot. We've done this with a couple of dealers, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing we've ever come across in years." So I just want folks to know.
You know why? Because I think part of it is, let's just be honest with our listeners, is that because I'm in front of thousands and thousands of stores, as you are as well, LA. I am shocked to find, right, that there's a couple of problems that I see with the current trajectory of new hires. One is most dealerships don't even have an adequate upsheet or customer worksheet, and that blows me away, because sometimes they don't even have a physical, tangible PDF or form. They just log into the CRM, and the CRM doesn't have any infrastructure. So there might be a couple shitty selected questions to kind of prompt the salesperson. But America, I'm telling you right now, I am finding the vast majority, more than 50% of dealers that I come across to on a day-to-day basis do not have any decent qualification sheet, worksheet, upsheet, 4-square, any of that stuff. I'd say more than half of dealers don't even have one. You know what I mean? They have a worksheet that nobody uses or half-ass uses. And even the ones they have, they're not symmetrical. They're not strategic. They don't ask the right things. And I'd say that very, very few dealers nowadays respect the customer worksheet process and whatnot. In our system, not only have we created a very, very powerful physical PDF or HTML graphic, worksheet that can be printed out in stacks and have on people's desks, but it's also been digitized, and it's also been formatted in HTML to be into a CRM. So whether it's Vin Solutions, it's Dealer Socket, eLeads, ProMax, or any of the good CRMs that are out there, you can actually digitize your forms and have them live native in the CRM. So if you're a person that doesn't like writing with a pen and paper, you just like opening up your customer worksheet and qualifying your prospect in your CRM, this is completely applicable for you. But again, I want to stress, most people I come in contact with, LA, don't have a worksheet. And even if they did, it's different from what process and what system they have inside their CRM. What's your experience, LA?
Yeah, and the thing is that no one does things the same, right? There's no uniform process, right? The new person does it one way, the old person does it one way, team A does it one way, team B does it another way. And so then now there's inconsistency in your dealership, and then you can't find what's working, what's not working, what's done well, what's not. There's no process. So again, we always talk about how, it's not just about, the people. We understand that people is one of the biggest things, but you got to have the proper processes in place. And again, that's, probably the automotive industry's biggest challenge outside of having the right people. We talk about HR all the time, right? But process, I would say, is definitely a big challenge, and we got to get this in place. And so that's what Sean and I's missions have become, to make sure that folks got the right processes in place. And that's what this is all about.
LA, it blows my mind, because not only are salespeople not qualifying the prospects the right way. Why? Because they don't know the right questions to ask. Because when you qualify, it's not even just about the current vehicle of interest, meaning like what vehicle they're coming in on, or they're possibly a candidate for. It's not only finding about their trade-in potential or their current vehicle vehicle that they own or leasing, it's not just about finding out about the down payment. It's also the relationship side of things. Remember, CRM stands for customer relationship management. We've got to be able to qualify people in a dual format. Let's talk about this for a couple of minutes, LA. I think that there has to be, the vehicle and the business side of things. Okay. When I say the business side of things, I'm talking about the vehicle of interest, the current vehicle, the down payment, the monthly payment, the wants, wishes, expectations about the vehicle, the use for the vehicle, the drivers on the vehicle, the vehicle. Yes, I get it. Damn it. The vehicle, but sales is a relationship business. Car sales especially is a relationship business. Again, price is only relevant with the absence of value. So what we've got to be able to do, LA, is make sure that we're also qualifying the prospect on relationship stuff. Okay, qualifying the household. How many drivers are in the house? What kind of vehicles are they driving? What years? How long have they owned them for? Why do we want to know that? Well, because again, each one of those vehicles is a possible acquisition opportunity or a trade-in opportunity. And all of those drivers are future prospects, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to that, LA, finding out about the family, about birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, about pets, about hobbies, about favorite sports teams. Why do we want to know all this? Because then we could accentuate the CRM. You want to follow up with this prospect more than their own relatives do, not in a weird way or spammy way, but in a very strategic, very, very systematic customer relationship building way. Birthdays, anniversaries. Hell, when it's time to turn back the clocks or spring the clocks forward, it should be you with the text message or a video email, sent to the prospect. When it's about graduation or anything about birthdays or anniversaries or any of that stuff, you want to constantly have top of the mind awareness. So again, you've got to seek first to understand, then to be understood. LA, flow.
No, you're absolutely on it. And see, let me kind of give folks a reality of life. The more expensive the product you offer is, the stronger your relationship needs to be.
Word.
Bam. The more expensive the product you offer is, the better your relationship needs to be. Listen, if you're selling somebody, penny candy, I mean, it is what it is, right? Really don't really take a whole lot, but when you start offering people cars and jets and boats and houses and, things that are in the thousands and thousands of dollars, come on, Sean, you buy some pretty darn expensive stuff, my man.
Watch, let me jump in right here. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm spoiled. I live in New Jersey, right by Philadelphia, and we fly to Beverly Hills, California, because my wife loves shopping, on Rodeo Drive. And one of her favorite stores is the Dior store, the House of Dior, which is a major fashion house. And why we love Dior is, we got turned on to them in Beverly Hills when she was doing the Karina Bradley project. So when we show up, they would literally close, lock the doors, bust out the champagne, and we get crunk. But we also have our own personal shopper. Her name is Han. And I don't know if LA, if you know this, but this woman, remember, she's based in, Beverly Hills, California. She stays in methodical follow-up with us. She sends us cards. She sends us Christmas presents. She sends us little messages, that are there. She sends us like different things that we might like, for whether it's accessories or clothes or ties or purses or what have you. But you're absolutely right. When you have a bespoke, when you have a custom high end, whether it's watch or it's suits or it's cars, anything that's high end, that people have a choice. You got to remember something, folks. Yes, people need a car to get to work, right? But there's a lot of choices. If I'm going to spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $200,000 on an automobile, man, I want to be treated like a king. I don't need you to kiss my ass and be like theatrical with it, but I want you to appreciate me. I want to get some perks. I want you to not just be there when you're getting a check. I want you to keep me in the loop, check on me, see how I'm doing, see how I'm doing with the car. I'd say, things like that. So Ella, you're spot on. The more money, the more expensive the item that you sell is, the better your customer service is. And part of customer service is knowing your client, knowing everything about them, and being able to like almost magically be on the forefront of it. Don't see something posted and just react. Oh shit, it's Bob's birthday. I forgot to wish Bob, a happy birthday. No, you should know 3 days before. Send him a text message the night before or first thing in the morning, or do something different. LA?
Exactly. No, 100%, man. We got the same situation at the store. I call it Shea Bond, but it's really where I get my cologne and all that different type of stuff from. I have a representative. Sydney. She does the same exact thing. Closes the doors. No one else comes in, right? And then they just kind of roll out the red carpet for us because I spend a lot of money there. I like to smell good, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's a part of the process. Again, are we doing things like that? Of course, you may not be able to close down the dealership, but you can do something along the lines, making a customer feel special. And that is the key. Everybody has a huge sign on their chest that says, "Make me feel special." You better know that you got to see that. So,
absolutely, LA. I'm going to repeat what I said before. Price is only relevant with the absence of value. See, what we've got to do when we qualify a prospect, when we identify their wants, wishes, expectations, I'm going to take it a couple different layers. All right. First of all, I want to break some science down to everybody listening. There are different mind patterns. Okay. There's different ways that people comprehend, process information, learn, absorb, and make decisions. Okay. There are visual thinkers. There are auditory thinkers, there are kinesthetic thinkers, and then there are hybrids. So let's go into a visual thinker, right? Visually. Couple things on this. When somebody's a visual thinker and you're talking to them, they're actually going to see little snapshots in their mind. They're going to see pictures of what you're talking about. So if I talk about a 2023 Lincoln Aviator GT black label, black with a white gut. Okay, boom. I just gave you a bunch of details. Well, a visual thinker is actually going to see a snapshot in their mind of that. In addition to being able to see like a photographic, maybe not a photographic memory, but they see a little snapshot. They see it visually, right? Certain visual words or phrases like this, looks like we've got a deal, looks like, that resonates and clicks better with a visual thinker. Now, let's go to a completely different category. From visual will be kinesthetic. Kinesthetic means touching, feeling. These type of people, if I'm going to have a prospect in front of me, it doesn't matter what I'm saying and what I'm showing them, they might not fully get it. For a kinesthetic thinker, they might need to be in the vehicle. You could tell these people that you're doing a demo, and they're the ones that are touching all the buttons, spinning the little dials, they're clicking the buttons, they're touching the visors, they're fixing the mirrors, they're gripping the gear shift, they're pressing the brake. Again, these people need to smell the leather. They need to, press the button, vroom, vroom, hear the engine, and just get that whole feeling involved, right? Yeah. So that's a kinesthetic learner, okay? Is that they process information better when they're touching, feeling, absorbing in it kinesthetically.
That's me all day.
Whereas an auditory thinker, hearing. Like for me with numbers, man, I hear stats and they stick in my mind like a magnet. Some people, when they hear something, so if I said like a Maserati, I used to have a Maserati Levante, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there is a very distinct sound of a Maserati engine or Ferrari engine, right? Which Maserati is made by Ferrari engines in some, right? And so again, an auditory thinker actually hears. They process sounds and words and things like that so much better. Tone and inflection is really imperative. And then we have a whole nother qualification besides visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. It's called a hybrid. A hybrid thinker is a person that in different scenarios, like for me, I'm a real true to God hybrid thinker. When it comes to most business, like stats and details, stuff like that, I'm auditory. But I also been in martial arts for like a very long time. And for me, I'm kinesthetic. When I do jujitsu and mixed martial arts, for me, like I sometimes close my eyes and I'll put on a choke or I'll put on on a move or throw. And for me, I have to feel it. That's how I really learn and absorb, and I'm able to execute. So again, to me, qualification is not just asking questions to build a profile. Let me repeat this at LA. I want us to really hammer this into our audience. See, when you qualify, there's different levels of qualification. Again, we started with the customer worksheet type stuff when we're asking things on those 4 quadrants on the vehicle of interest, the current vehicle, the down payment or initial investment, it's called, the monthly investment or the monthly payments. Those 4 areas is one thing, but then the relationship stuff, birthdays, anniversaries, family members, hobbies, interests, yada, yada, yada. Those are preliminary, but then there's also further qualification on profiling scientifically, mind ways, pattern comprehension. Now, there's also another way, LA, personalities. People have different personalities. There are people that are dictators that are like, boom, like very aggressive, and they're A-type personalities. Then you've got a socializer. People just like to, sit back, shoot the shit, tell you about themselves, their lives. Then there's the people that are like very analytical, very, very analytical. And then you got the people that are the relators. So LA, do you see what I'm kind of going through? When you qualify, it's such a robust thing. It's not just what kind of car do you want? New or used, 2-door, 4-door, domestic, import. I'm not talking about just that. Can you elaborate too? Can you go a little bit deeper on the different levels and the different degrees and the different shades of qualification, brother?
One of the things that I'll talk about, and let me answer this one question, because I know people are thinking, how in the world am I supposed to know what type of thinker someone is? I don't know how can I ask them that question? You don't need to ask them. You listen to them. Who says, well, looks like you're doing such and such. That might be a visual thinker. Audible thinkers say, well, it sounds like you, and they use those type of language, right? Kinesthetic people say, oh, well, I feel as if, or it feels like such and such and such and such, right? And so these are words that they use. Just pay attention. I remember having a prospect on the phone, and I couldn't get him to listen to what I was saying but I did notice he kept using the word comfortable. And so I said to him, well, to make things more comfortable for you, John, let me do this. How about we set a time for you? And then as soon as I said that, he did what I asked him to do. Why? Because I used his language. It was a mirror neuron that I picked up on. So let's talk a little bit about the personality types. You mentioned them, Sean, and I am certified in something called a gentleman, Jim Hoyt. He has the STAR theory. And so we've all heard of, different personality types. Sean was just breaking it down. S is the very, thinking people who are structured, right? They have a structured mindset. They love numbered lists, right? Give them a list of 1, 2, 3, steps 1, 2, and 3. Man, I'm telling you, they're going to love you, right? If your desk is nice and neat, they're going to love you, right? But then you got people who are technical thinking people. These people, they like, computers. They like techie stuff. They like, the latest iPhone, and you'll notice that they might have a Apple Watch or something, the latest and greatest Android, if that exists, but that's a whole nother conversation, right? But they have these things going on, right? They want the technology package. And so you have to understand that these people think a certain type of way. You got to be able to work with them. But then we've all heard of the A personality type, action people. They just want to get it done. They don't care how it gets done. They just want to get it done, right? It is what it is, right? We don't have to talk about it. Let's just do first, and then we can figure it out later. Those are action-minded people. And then you have the relators where, listen, guys, we got to get to know one another. Hey, they want to shake hands, hug, and all that. COVID really messed these folks up. They didn't really like that situation at all because it took away some of the closeness. And so these people, again, relationships, they want to see you having pictures on your desk and things like that. So understand the different type of personality types. All of that is a part of the qualification process. Maybe one day we have Jim come on here, Sean, and really just break down the personality types, because I'm certified, but he's like a creator of the stuff. So I'll get him on the podcast one day.
Heck yeah, I think that would be amazing. But folks, what LA just said is,
let me tell you
how.
If you want the personality, if you want us to get Jim on here to talk about personality types and how to qualify that, text me the word personality. Text the word personality to 267-551-6279. That's 267-551-6279. So if we have a bunch of people text me the word personality, I'll make it my business to get Jim here on the podcast with us, Sean.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, LA, I want to also reinforce what you said. There is a lot to master. I mean, just like if you look at one of those Kung Fu masters, right? Like one of those Shaolin monks. I mean, like they didn't just start out as a 60-year-old grandmaster monk, right? I mean, they started out like 2-3 years old at the Shaolin Temple. Yeah, you're doing the same drills over and over again for 62 years or whatever it is. So don't expect that you just listen to a podcast and you just magically got matrix absorbed into this stuff. No, there's different levels. Just you have to start with the basics, like just qualifying your prospect. If you really could identify their wants, wishes, expectations. Why? Because your goal should be 3 things all the time: identify, meet, and exceed. Identify, meet, and exceed. LA, you got to put some Wizard of Oz music to this, like identify, meet, and exceed. Identify, meet, and exceed. Identify, meet, and exceed. Identify, meet, and exceed. Okay. And I'm driving you crazy. I should be, because I'm trying to annoy the shit out of you guys right now, because that's what you guys got to do. You have to have that drill, that cadence in your mind. Every single prospect, without exception, without fail, you need to identify their wants, wishes, expectations. Next, you need to meet those expectations. And then, and only then have you, after you've identified and you've met, do you have the opportunity to exceed. So with Dealer Synergy, our inbound, outbound scripting, our scripting is how we are able to identify a prospect's true wants, wishes, expectations. Utilizing the Dealer Synergy customer worksheet, our needs assessment, right? This workshop we're going to do on May 24th at 2 p.m. Eastern time, okay? It's going to be designed completely on qualifying, utilizing the Dealer Synergy award-winning process, identifying their wants, wishes, expectations. Me and LA are going to explain it. Then we're going to role play it and we're going to drill it, inside and out. Now, if we're able with the Dealer Synergy scripting and the custom needs analysis, right? That's how we identify their wants, wishes, and expectations. How do you meet them is with the Dealer Synergy library. We have over 165 objections and rebuttals for all of the top reasons, from price, availability, convenience, I hate car salesmen, research, trade, credit, expectations. We have even modified brand new processes and strategies specifically for COVID, dealing with the inventory crisis, with the addendums, the at market or over list pricing. We have all of that with the Dealer Synergy library of word tracks. That's how you meet their expectations. But the way that you exceed them is really simply this: by understanding your unique dealership's value package proposition, which means what is different and better about your dealership. But not just there, in addition to what's different and better about your dealership, but what is different and better about your manufacturer. If you're repping Ford, what is so special about Ford OEM or the F-150? If you're waving the Kia flag, what is so special about not only RK Kia, but also Kia manufacturer and the Kia Sorento? You see what I'm saying? So again, what's in it for them? Why? And these rules of engagement have not changed for 23 years. I've been doing this. Sell yourself, sell the dealership, and sell the product. But here's the problem. If you guys are out there, you ladies and gentlemen are sitting there trying to build value, but yet you've incorrectly or missed the ball completely of identifying what their wants and wishes are. You know what I mean? Like we can't skip that. So if you're talking about your free delivery or your service department, but they don't give a shit about that, what they care about the most is their credit situation. And if you're not talking about all the amazing things that you do and all the lenders and how you could get them approved, you're missing the boat.
Exactly.
Let's just say that you are talking about credit, but these people have got perfect credit. Okay. What if you're talking about the service department and these people are 2 hours away? They're going to buy a car for you, but they're never going to use any service or parts ever. So again, you can't be a machine and just vomit at one time at man camp, with everybody. Not everybody gives a shit about what everybody else gives a shit about.
Yeah.
You've got to identify what's uniquely important. Ooh, I like that, LA. What is uniquely important to that particular prospect? One more time. You've got to identify what is uniquely important to that particular prospect. This is that prospect's puzzle pieces that we're talking about. So when you're qualifying the prospects, there's so many different layers and degrees. Just like you have the epididymis and the epidermis, you know what I mean? You have skin, right? Mm-hmm. But there's different layers. There's different layers to qualification. Oh my God, LA, the analogies and the philosophies here. Tag, baby, tag, you're in. Go get some.
You're on fire right now, baby boy. Here's the thing, because I know we getting ready to close out here, but man, I think the bottom line that we really want folks to understand is that, as you said earlier, you're not going to get this all in one piece. You know, you're not going to get all of this from a free podcast. You're going to get a lot of good stuff, right? But, you know, you're going to have to learn to invest in yourself, right? And when you invest in yourself, that's when you begin to get all the goodies. You begin to get all of the, you know, extras that come along with success, right? And so again, we're gonna pour into you. We're gonna give you everything that we got. But again, there are some things that are designed specifically for clients. And hey, no big deal if you're not a client, right? You can't get your dealership to, you know, sign up with Dealer Synergy, all that. You know, you don't personally have, you know, you're not ready for the entire Bradley on demand system and everything. Hey, just take $97, right? I mean, look, come on, now, $97. I spent more than that. I just went to dinner, Sean, after the movie premiere we did with Dr. Strange. We went to Jeremiah's game, played basketball, and then we went to a restaurant. And so it was myself, my godson, my son, my wife Naima, and her friend, and we just got something to eat real quick. I think like $120, right? I mean, come on, y'all, that's more than $97. And so don't pretend as it. And if you don't have $97, you're probably in the wrong daggum industry anyway. I'm just gonna tell you, right? So gotta execute on that doggone thing. So Sean, what would you have to say about that? And then we're gonna get out of here.
Listen, folks, if you guys don't know, for 1 year, for the entire 2021 year, LA and I had a nationally syndicated broadcast radio show in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Rochester, New York, and Cleveland, Ohio. We had 1.2 million Americans that tuned into our radio show in LA. We interviewed the greatest mind. We interviewed CEOs of billion-dollar companies. We've interviewed the Discovery Channel's Undercover Billionaire, other billionaires, millionaires, professional athletes from the NFL, UFC, and NBA, as well as New York Times bestselling authors, major label recording artists, reality TV show stars, famous, people like you wouldn't believe. And you know what every single body says?
What is that?
Is that besides believing in yourself, you need to invest in yourself first. The rules of engagement are invest in yourself, in education, in information, and resources. Then number 2, you invest in your business. Okay. When you have the right knowledge, the right amount of knowledge, then you can take the next level of investment is into your business. And once you're making enough money, then you could start investing in actual diversification in investments to make your money grow for you. So yes, it is elementary. It is, positively the most important thing that you should do is invest in yourself. And again, guys, I charge a tremendous amount of money. $97, for an hour of my time is definitely going to be worth your time. I promise you that. And if you couldn't afford $97 or to swipe a credit card, then you should probably DM me because you need some help. You need some extra special help.
Absolutely. And if you know Sean, it's not just going to be an hour. It's going to be like $97 for 97 minutes because he's always over delivering, y'all. So I promise y'all. Listen, we're going to get out of here, Sean. Man.
Wait a minute. I just took a bump for 37 minutes? What kind of? No, I'm looking at it. I'm down.
This is what I'm saying, y'all. Listen, this is what we do, man. If you want to be successful, if you want to win in this automotive industry, it is your job, man. It's your turn. You got to go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. I've always said that you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with, and you've just been spending time with the one and only Mr. Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams, the blind master. Get out there and do your thing, man. Become a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace. So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is sponsored in part by Autoweb. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.